Welcome back to the Pouncer AI Freelancer Education Series. I am Jerod Morris here with Pouncer AI founder and CEO, Sean Jackson. Sean, I'm enjoying doing this series with you.
It's
How you doing?
great to spend time with you, Jerod.
It
I
is.
always enjoyed it when we worked together before. So this just is an excuse for us to have a chance to talk to each other.
I agree. So we've gone through some foundational ideas here in the beginner series. In our last edition, we talked about the power of past projects and how you can use those to build trust with the future clients that you want to hire you. And today, we're going to take that next step and we're going to talk about how to find the right jobs, but how to do it the smart way, because you only have so much time and you want to make sure that you use that time efficiently to have the most success. And so, Sean, let's dive into that. And let me start with this question for you. How much time should freelancers spend searching for jobs? Like, just to give us a frame of reference, how much time should we expect to spend doing this?
Well, I will tell you, in the very beginning, where you have more time than money, you should be spending a lot of time looking for jobs. And I think this is true no matter how successful you become on Upwork, I think you should budget time every single day to be looking for jobs. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's kind of like exercising, right? If you just put 30 minutes aside every day and make it a routine, then you'll come up and it's just something that you'll be doing fairly constantly. Now, in the very beginning, when you're out there, you are going to probably be a lot more meticulous in watching that job screen. And that's a big part of what we built with Pouncer AI was to help you monitor jobs. Because in the beginning, you're just going to need to apply to a lot of different types of jobs. And in doing so, you're going to have to be watching it pretty closely. Now, to help you though, I want to go ahead and share my screen with everyone, because I think when you're first getting into Upwork, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot available to it. But one of the things that you should absolutely take a look at is, and spend a lot of time getting really good at, is the search capability inside of Upwork. This is probably where in the very, very beginning, when you are looking for jobs, you're going to want to spend an inordinate amount of time here really tweaking it up and saving these searches for later. So for example, I've got one here for WordPress. Now, most people just come in here and they'll type in something like, oh, I don't know, WordPress, right? And let me spell it correctly. If I put in WordPress and I just want to see all the jobs related to WordPress, that's a rookie mistake. What you want to do is you want to go to advanced search. And in advanced search, instead of going to all of these words, you want to go to title search and put in what it is that you think a client is creating a job for. So let's go, and using this WordPress example, I'm just going to put in the word WordPress in the title. Now, why did I do that versus all words? Because if I am a client and I'm looking for someone who knows WordPress, I am going to put the word WordPress into the title 9 times out of 10. I have a very specific intent that I'm looking for, and I'm going to use those terms inside of the title. That's a very, very important aspect of when you're coming in, is looking at these advanced search options. You also want to pay attention to none of these words so that you can come through and say, if I'm doing WordPress, maybe I don't use Elementor. So I don't want any job that says Elementor in it. So using both title and the negative words, that's a good way to start refining your search. And you can do that by putting in one factor and then start looking through here and seeing, is this the type of work that I'm looking for? Is there enough jobs coming in? So if we look at WordPress, there was one 15 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, an hour ago. There's a lot of WordPress jobs out there. That's a lot. Maybe I need to refine it down. The other things that I would definitely recommend is you absolutely want to spend some time on categories, because having a category is just another way of filtering through this. So absolutely putting your category selection together. Always recommend intermediate and expert. Very rarely are you entry level. Even people who are entry level are rarely entry level. So I generally look for the higher paying jobs, which are intermediate and expert. Now, here's another trap. The other trap is on hourly and fixed price. If you have been on Upwork for a while, do not, in my opinion, use it. However, if you're new, I mean like brand new, you may. But here's why I recommend not putting something in here. Jerod, let's say you charge $500 an hour, which you do. and I only have $490 to spend per hour. Would you not want to work with me? I mean, seriously,
Are you trying to tell me something right now, Sean?
I'm like sitting there going, why would you exclude people? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to get them a proposal so they will contact you so you can finalize a price. The other thing that I really recommend, especially for new people, since that's who's on here, you only want to work with clients that have had previous hires. The more, the better, because those tend to be the better clients. Notice how we're starting to see 5-star jobs and 4.8 from this is the client rating right there. These are just by nature better jobs overall because these people are actively hiring. They understand the game. And this goes into what we talked about previously about being very selective. Client location, another big one, making sure that you have the countries that you work in. A lot of people want the United States. That's great. Canada, the EU, wherever, it doesn't matter. So I think these are all kind of the basics. Spend time on advanced, pick your category, put your experience level, and then if you're new, worry about the client history. Now, if you've been on the platform for a while, you'll realize very quickly there's some unbelievable opportunities from brand new people on the platform. So using client history is one of those things that I think as you get more experience, you may turn off. And then, of course, your country. Make sure you have the right country. All of this said, the thing that you want to do is once you get this list together, once you see that there's enough volume of jobs coming in, you must save the search. Save it. You want to put in a good title, something that reminds you of what it is. And I always recommend putting in the date as well, because over time, you're going to change this. Now, why did we do all this, Jerod? Because when you go to log in every day that you should be doing, when you're coming in there, you're going to notice that this says My Feed. This is that save search that we were just working on. It's under My Feed. Okay. All right. Once you do all that, I would recommend that you use Pouncer AI. And the reason I recommend doing that is because now you have a persistent sidebar on your browser that is constantly monitoring the jobs that are coming in based on the saved searches, the best matches, the most recent, the US only. So now I can come in and say, oh, I don't want to do that job. I'm going to archive it. Maybe I like that one. Ooh, I like this one. Save that job. And then I can come back and I can see all of my saved jobs. So I can come in there and I can quickly view them and then apply with Pouncer AI. The other beauty of this sidebar is, let's say that I'm going to, news.google.com. I'm checking the news for the day. Notice how my sidebar stays persistent right there. So even as I'm reading the news, I can still see those new jobs coming in based on the save searches, the best matches, the most recent, all of the things that matter. I can come in here and quickly review them. And if I see a job I like, I just click a button and it takes me right to that job. And if I like it, I hit apply with Pouncer AI and I'm off to the races and we're ready to go. Just that easy. Wasn't that fast?
It is. Okay, so do you have to recreate that save search in Pouncer, or is it pulling that save search from your account?
Great question. It pulls it automatically. You'll notice that in Pouncer, we have My Feeds. It exactly matches what we had back on Find Work. Here's My Feeds right there. There it is right there. There's best matches. And you can turn them off. So let's say I don't want most recent. I can just turn off the ones that I don't want. And so that way my job feed will only be the ones that I'm interested in. We built this because, let's face it, when you're talking about time, which is the whole point of this, interview, is that I will have other things as a freelancer I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be checking the news. I'm going to be working on a tool. I'll be on whatever. But I never want to lose an opportunity. And that's why we built this sidebar, so that as you go from website to website to website, then you can come through and say, oh, I'm reading this article. Oh, wait a minute, there's a new job here. Let me go view it real quick because I want to be one of the first to apply with Pouncer AI.
Nice. Yeah. And just to be clear, that's not a native feature of Upwork. If you don't have this tool, you've got to constantly be going back into your Upwork account.
That's right.
and,
This,
and keeping that window open. And so this
yeah,
allows you to keep closer tabs on it while you're doing what else
this
you're
is
doing.
how we used to do it. You ready? Here, let me hit refresh. Okay, nothing's
Oh,
come in.
refresh.
All right.
Yes.
And then you'd heart it because you want to feed the system in. You want to say, yes, this is the type of work. This is really more for their backend search engine. And so you'll say, I like it or I dislike it to help the best matches become more relevant. But here's the reason, again, and this kind of goes more to our mentality, is that the reason we put this together is because I wanted a system that I could quickly go through and just archive things. I just don't want this. I don't want it. I don't want it. Oh, I like this. I want to go in and hit saved. Okay. So for me, having that capability was something that I could quickly go through and say, okay, no, I don't want this. Let me archive it.
And one thing that you can do as you're going through that process, if you notice that there's a particular theme about the jobs that you're archiving, like you mentioned Elementor earlier, right? Like maybe there's a particular tool they want people to use that you don't use. You can go back in and update your saved search to include those, and that'll add even more efficiency to the process. And that's the idea. Right. Get more efficient with this process so that you're seeing more jobs that you might be potentially interested in. Add efficiency in the proposal process with Pouncer AI so you can spend more time doing great work and possibly doing more jobs. That's the whole idea here.
And here's the thing. I think that, too many times, people want to read every line item. They get, I think, and it is overwhelming. Don't get me wrong. The reason we built the sidebar and we put those buttons in there and the archive button, when we were active on Upwork, meaning we were actively going out there and we would send out at least 10, 15 proposals a day. I would look at jobs constantly and I just archive them because I left a very broad search. I wanted to see all the mobile app development stuff that was out there. Now we had a couple of things that we excluded, but we worked on our saved searches, but then I would just archive. I just nope. Because when I would find something, I click save, I could go back through my list, archive, and then I go to my saved ones and apply. Now, some of the people out there will be like, well, Sean, you have to apply within the first minute or you won't win. There's an advantage to applying, early rather than later. I will tell you, though, that it is better to apply within the first 24 hours, okay, or wait till the very end. Okay. And here's why. If you're in the first 24 hours, clients are going to get, it's just the nature of having a giant platform. They're going to get a lot of proposals very, very quickly. Okay. Yeah. Some will be bot automated, but to be frank with you, I haven't seen a lot of bot automations and we posted a lot of jobs out there. What I just see is the fact that there's freelancers worldwide who are literally watching that feed and hitting the apply button. So I'm going to see a lot and I'm going to take time to review the ones that come in. I'll have my own filtering criteria, but I'm going to take a time to kind of look within that first 24, 48 hours. If I haven't found anybody yet though, and I'm a little bit later, then I get an alert as a client that says, hey, there's somebody new. I'll go take a look at them. So I do think there's an advantage in the very beginning to be within the first 24 hours. I don't think you have to be the very first one. Like you can be the very first one and somebody may boost over. There's a whole bunch of tricks that people can do. At the end of the day, you want to be available, which is why I recommend daily. You want to have a great cover letter, specifically the first sentence or its first two sentences really that really grab their attention. And you just want to make sure that you're getting the type of client that appreciates working with you. And it's a numbers game. Seriously, how do you compete with 50 to 100 people? You just have to get your proposal in there and eventually yours will stand out. And you're doing it because you're finding the right type of job using that saved search like we just went through.
Any other tips for how to make this process more efficient or more effective when it comes to finding and applying?
I will say this. I think you have to be, you have to schedule your day to include time to go and find a job. Okay. I think you can drive yourself mad if you think you have to be the first to apply, but I think you should apply every 24 hours and put your, best effort forward, and then it'll show up and the client will see it. And if they like it, they're going to respond, but just set the time aside. We built Pouncer AI sidebar so you could have it persistent. As you're cruising the web, you can see those opportunities. But let's say you close it. just make sure you're going back and opening it up and see if there's anything new. Archive the ones you don't like, view the job and apply for the ones you want to do now, and save the ones that you want to come back to and look at later.
Yeah. Well said. All right. So those are some tips for how to find the right jobs, how to apply in a smart way to save yourself time. As we move forward here, our next 2 lessons in the beginner series, we're going to give you some more tips about how to build your profile and tweak it and craft it for success. And then I know everybody's asking the question about pricing, setting your rates. That's coming in lesson 6. So those are the next 2 lessons. Stick with us here in the Pouncer AI Freelancer Education Series. We'll be back with lesson 5 in the beginner series here soon. We'll talk to you soon.